Excellent. We are live. Hello. Welcome to this week's Tuesday Live. This is the last one, if I can figure it out. This will be the last one on Facebook. After this, I'm hoping to be able to stream live to YouTube. Still trying to figure it out. Okay. Learning new things every week. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope this video finds you well, whether you are watching live or after the fact on whatever social media channel or on the YouTube channel. We're sure glad that you're here. My name is Lucas Simmons. I'm your holistic nutrition practitioner, and my bag is in helping you figure out how to feel real good. And that can be because of so many different things. But it's really about pairing you up with a good food and making it work for whatever situation you find yourself in. Now, today we're going to be talking about histamines. That happens to be the focus for this month at Good Food and You. But know that the recommendations we're doing are not instead of medical stuff. We're not giving any medical treatment, nor guarantees, yada, yada. We're all above board, and it's just about how to cook food. So how to make food work for you. There you go. So, okay, question today is, the topic is the top food prep tips when histamines are an issue. And I've got 3 easy things to remember. Well, easy. I think they're easy, but only because I've been implementing them for a while. So choose one, implement it, and move along. When you're ready to add the next piece in, add that one in. If histamines are an issue for you, then these are going to be some of these food ways to help you move through it with a bit more ease. If ever you need more information, want to go deeper into this kind of thing, get in touch with me. Histamines are actually my specialty. So I would love nothing more than to be your ally. Okay. Number 1. If you're having a hard time handling the excess histamines going on in your body, it's not the histamines that are the issue, but rather the fact that you're having a hard time clearing histamines out of the body. So one of the tips, the first one, is an easy way to reduce the amount of histamines your body has to handle. So when it comes to food, the fresher, the better. Now, this is because the longer something is away from being alive, the higher the amount of histamines that can develop. This is kind of a general rule to take. So if you were to take a fresh apple versus a dried apple that's been sitting in the pantry for 3 months, guess which one will have more histamines, or the potential of having more histamines? Which one's further away from being alive? Oh, well, the dried apple. Excellent choice. So going for the fresh apple will serve you better in that scenario. So the fresher the food, the better. Now the farther away from being alive, here's where the issue is with histamines. Histamines, in part, while your body makes them, you need them for different processes in the body. We have them in foods. They are all kinds of different ways to get histamines into the system. Your immune system produces them. There's a lot of mast cell activation. People will have a little bit more histamine to deal with. For some people, they have genetic things that are awry that make it so it's hard for you to clear spent histamines. Maybe you have a gene mutation as well. Who knows? Whatever. It's the same rules for everybody. If histamines are an issue, here are food ways to help you through it. The further something is from being alive, the more chance it has for bacteria to develop on it. And it's these bacteria that develop that produce histamines. So it's part food handling issue. It's part how long the stuff has been out. And for most people, it wouldn't be an issue because their body would be able to break down those histamines coming in through food, through, an apple that's been kept for 10 months in the cellar. There's not tons of histamines on that, but that versus an apple picked right from the tree, there'll be a lot more histamines on something that hasn't been alive for longer, right? Or that's been farther away from being alive. So that's your tip number 1, the fresher, the better. Number 2, the higher the food chain, the faster histamines can develop. So if you keep this concept in mind, then I'm going to ask you a very quick question. An eggplant, oh, that's not a fair thing. Eggplants are actually naturally occurringly high in histamines. It's low in histamines. Let's say, apples again. Okay, so an apple, it's fairly low in histamines and in fact has foods in it that help break down histamine issues. But say an apple versus a fish, which one's higher up on the echelon, on the food chain? Oh, the fish. So the fish is up here. Well, which food of these two is going to develop histamines faster? The one that's higher up on the food chain. So protein, animal protein, fish protein, any type of higher up that echelon has the potential to develop more histamines faster than something lower on the food chain. Anything that has the capacity to decompose faster, again, because of that bacteria thing. So the higher the food chain, the faster the histamines develop. So one of the practical ways to get through that, buy frozen meat when you can, cook from frozen when you can, especially during a histamine flare-up. And for those people who are really super seriously compromised in terms of histamine blow-ups right now, then actually reducing the intake of those types of foods will help in a very short term. It doesn't fix the issue long term. Taking protein out of your diet does not help you long term. You need protein to function. You need protein for hormonal balance. You need protein for blood sugar balancing. You need protein for building and repairing in the body. Your entire immune system runs on protein. Please do not take this as advice that you need to take protein out. On those days where the histamines are flaring up, that's one of the methods to help in the moment. But you need to address what the issue is to fix the root piece of why histamines are showing up and being a problem anyway. So the higher the food chain, the faster the histamines can develop because of that bacterial component. So number 3, one of these tips kind of ties into point number 2. If histamines develop on something, the further it is away from being alive, the higher up the food chain, then your best bet is to freeze foods soon after cooking for leftovers. So leftovers, as you can imagine, have the potential to develop more bacteria, which then produce histamines as a byproduct. So it now adds to your histamine load, and some of those histamines you have to clear. So that's an issue. Okay, so now what? I know, Eli, you're always, I love that you're there. Thanks for coming, friend. So when histamines are an issue, one of the pieces you want to do that may be of service to you is to freeze foods soon after cooking. So last night, for example, we made chili at my house. So as soon as we had finished dinner, I put it in a sink full of cold water to cool it right down. And then I portioned it off into some freezer cubes so that I could freeze single serving sizes into the freezer. And by the time 8 o'clock rolled around, everything was tucked away into the freezer and already on its way to stopping the development of histamines. Next time somebody wants chili, then we're going to pop it out and warm it from frozen. When you do that, you reduce the chances of bacteria developing on that food and those bacteria from producing histamines. Now, is this something that everybody needs to take into consideration or keep in mind? I don't think so. I think it's really an issue for those who are currently in an active histamine flare-up. Really, you should be able to handle these types of things. Your body should be able to handle these types of things. But for some reason, your body is producing excess histamines. So it bears the time and effort to do some digging with someone who can help you to figure out what's at the root of these histamine issues. Is it a mast cell problem? Is it a genetic something or other going awry somewhere? Is it a copper deficiency? Is it any other type of deficiency? Do you have a gene mutation preventing you from making certain enzymes? Is there a problem at the gut level where you can't make the enzyme to break histamines down? Is it also because you're exhausted? When your adrenals are tuckered out, histamines show up because they are there to protect you. So for somebody whose adrenals are really spent, their body feels the need to protect the person all the time. Why is your body feeling the need to protect you? That bears looking into. So those are your 3 tips on how to keep food, or the food prep tips when histamines are an issue. So your first one, the fresher, the better. Number 2, the higher the food chain, the faster it can develop histamines. And number 3, freeze your leftovers as soon as you're finished cooking. Cool them right down as quickly as you're able to and pop them into the freezer, and that will help reduce the development of histamines. So if you have any questions about histamines, it's my bag. Hit me up. Send me a private message if you wish. In the meantime, I have 50% off on my Vitality Histamines class right now. So you can find all of that through my website. You can also find it through links and profile and social media things. It is on sale until the end of this month. for half price. So that's a great place to start. If you're struggling with histamines, that's where you can start understanding some of the biochemistry of why histamines are a problem, why they're here, and how it's a gift, and then what kinds of things can you put in place. If you have any questions, I encourage you to get in touch with me. In the meantime, I wish you a lovely week ahead, and we'll see you back here on Tuesday for the next Tuesday Live. Although, if I can figure it out, it'll be moving over to YouTube. Because social media algorithms is burying stuff. That's how it goes. I'm not paying a red cent for this service, so I'm just going to have to figure out how to get the content out to people. If you've appreciated these types of weekly videos, then I encourage you to go sign up for the newsletter, because I'm compiling them all into that weekly newsletter that'll go out on Fridays. So then you don't have to go digging, you don't have to go searching, you don't have to remember to go find all the stuff. All that free stuff is coming to your inbox. Okay, I'm done. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Bye.